My name is Parker Zachman,
And I'm Joey Reese.
and we're here at the Minneapolis Institute of Arts, standing in front of Joel Shapiro's untitled piece.
It is made out of bronze and made between the years 1994 and 1995.
And I mean, just looking at it, you can tell why this accomplishment took such a long time. It's a beautiful collection of 5 rectangular prisms, and it incredibly represents the human form.
That's right. I mean, even looking at the reclining form, you can see truly the references to the Chocmool of ancient Mesoamerica.
Of all reclining figures, I mean, I believe the Chocmool, not necessarily a clear reference, but maybe more what the Chocmool stood for as a perfect ideal in society. And you can see here, with just the 5 rectangular blocks, this work brilliantly references the human form.
Definitely. The stick figure reclines peacefully, as said in this description, just like the Chocmool represents the peace of water.
Of course, it can be seen as almost as a human form resting its heavy limbs. At a glance, it's easy to imagine the ease and relief of such a pose. After a hard day of work, you could recline in such a fashion, and you would be instantly relieved of the stress of the day before.
And because this form is made out of bronze, there is a slight reflection, just as sometimes the bowl of the Chocmool was reflective, to represent you looking into the future and seeing your divine self.
Of course, especially speaking of reflections, you can see the slight burnishing in some areas, letting the light glisten off of it. You can see the true color of the bronze. The rest kind of looks dull, painted over almost, and this machined burnishing gives it an almost perfect look. But you can tell there are included a few minor imperfections, such as this little notch here,
Definitely.
and a couple of bruises around the edges, and it even more perfectly represents the human form. Because as humans, we are not perfect, and it's imperfections that make us human.
And I think that's why it was made this way. I mean, just as a Chocmool would have worn over the years, it represents that we're not all perfect inside.
Oh, of course, and this reclining figure shows the naturalism of the human body.
And not only that, but these 5 rectangular forms aren't only representative of the Mesoamerican culture, but also that of other cultures across the world, such as the 5 pillars of Islam.
Yeah, it is clear that not only is this a beautiful symbolism of the human form, but also a transcendent idea of the human nature, of human ideals. And
Again, another reference to the divine.
I believe this piece beautifully captures the idea of humanity. The symbolism so clear in this piece places this beautiful piece of artwork on the frontier between the physical and the supernatural realms, as almost an intermediary between the past and the present.
The 90s were a time of a lot less political and social turmoil compared to earlier decades. So I think that they created art just for the purpose of for their own pleasure and to evoke some sort of emotion.
Yeah, and for the first time in almost all of history, we get to experience art simply for art's sake.